Well, Happy New Year. Happy 2022. I know we're all so excited, right? This is the second year now where we've been thinking, oh, well, maybe this year will be different. And yet we're beginning to realize that we better not get our hopes up too high. But be that as it may, thanks for coming back to join me again for another episode of You and Me and Multiple Sclerosis. My name is Pam, and I've been living with multiple sclerosis for 37 years. And in that time, even though I'm not a medical professional, I feel like I've become quite an expert on my own MS. And I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned with you because I think that they could be of help to you as well. Well, you may remember at the end of last year, I started an exercise program that I designed to deal with some of the biggest challenges that I face when I'm just living my daily life with multiple sclerosis. And I used the MS Trust website from the United Kingdom. I'll put the link down in the description below. And I picked out certain exercises that I thought would be of special help to me. And then I asked my husband to evaluate me, to grade me A through F, depending on how he thought I was doing in each of the exercises, as kind of a baseline. And so I will be doing those exercises every day, but once a week, he's going to evaluate me and we'll see how I'm doing. I'm not expecting to make huge progress from week to week, but I think over time I might start seeing something different. And it'd be kind of fun just to see how that goes, right? And I'm sharing this stuff with you, not even so much that you'll cheer me on, although if you want to do that, I won't stop you. But because I think that there's things that I'm learning that might be useful for you too, just to know or think about. Maybe it's an idea that would benefit you as well. When I do these check-ins, I want to make sure that I tell you about lessons that I've learned, assumptions that I was holding on to that turned out not to be correct, new insights that I have gained, unexpected benefits that I've realized from doing the exercises, and then finally, how my goal that I originally set has been clarified or modified since that initial time that I set it. And that is an important thing to remember, by the way, that just because you set a goal a certain way doesn't mean that that's what you're stuck with forever. You can change it as new information comes to light. Well, for this first week, the lesson that I learned almost right away had to do with the exercises that I chose, many of which said, do it with your eyes open and then also do the same exercise with your eyes closed. Well, there's really not a lot of point, I discovered, no surprise, that there's really not much point in trying to do something with your eyes closed if you don't do it well with your eyes open, right? Yeah. Well, I realized that takes a number of the exercises that I was going to do and kind of pushes them out into the future where I feel like I've mastered doing the exercise with my eyes open. For example, the standing with my feet together. They want you to do that with your eyes open, okay, and then with them closed. Well, at first, even just trying to stand with my eyes open had been a challenge for me. But I have been every day practicing doing that, and I'm getting better. But I'll tell you what, right from the get-go and right up till now, if I try closing my eyes, all bets are off. We have no idea where I'm going to land. So that one I'm going to table until later, but I'm going to keep working on the eyes open one. The next thing I'll cover is an assumption that was challenged for me. I assumed that my left leg is not as strong as my right leg. And that's based partly on when the neurologist tells you that they're going to push down on your leg and that you're supposed to try and push up against it. The right leg does that pretty well. The left leg, I feel, is quite a bit weaker than that. It seems to be anyway. The neurologist seems to agree. And then in my daily life, getting in and out of the shower, it's a tub shower. So I get in with my right leg first, and then I kind of, move my left leg over there very carefully and all that sort of thing. So I assumed, okay, that's a weakness thing. But when I was doing the exercise where I'm lying on the bed, take my right leg bend it at the knee and then pull my knee up to the opposite shoulder. I found that I could do that pretty well with my right leg, but that my left leg was very tight. I was having a harder time getting it up there. I could feel the muscle like going right up into my back even. That just feels tight. And I got to wondering, well, gosh, maybe it isn't so much that my leg is weaker. Maybe it's just tighter. The muscle's just tighter. And the reason that I think that might be the case is because when I do the exercises where I'm supposed to stand on one leg, I do a lot better with my left leg, which is supposed to be my weaker leg, than I do with my right leg. Or the heel and toe thing, that putting your feet heel to toe. The leg that's in the back is the one that bears most of the weight. And so when the left leg is in the back, I do that one pretty well. When the right leg is in the back, I feel a lot less stable. So there's something there. And I'm going to be looking at whether the increased flexibility that I'm developing is going to make a difference. Well, the third category that I wanted to talk a little about was new insight that I have gained from doing my exercises. Even though I've only been at this a week, I've already realized something. The exercises that I had selected focused on 3 areas: balance, strength, and flexibility. And I was envisioning those as being kind of a triangle, with each of the points being labeled balance, flexibility, strength. And I thought that if I could just optimize each of those factors, that I would be doing really well. And I'm not saying that I was wrong about that, but I left out one important factor, and that is muscle memory. Yeah, I hadn't really considered how much our muscle memory plays a role in how well we can move around and what we can do. For example, think about driving a car. When you're first learning how to drive, you have to pay so close attention to every little thing, right? You have to really concentrate on when you're going to put the brake on and how hard to hit the brake and all that sort of stuff and how long it takes to stop. But the more you drive, the more you're used to it. You can go all the way to work and not even realize you were driving. You have no memory of it at all because your automatic muscle memory just takes care of everything without you having to give it any conscious thought. The same was true for me with MS. Before my MS symptoms really started to become bothersome in my life, I did all kinds of things without even thinking about them at all. But once the MS really started to take hold, I found that I was having a lot of difficulty doing things, and that was probably because I could no longer do them the way I was doing them in the past. Things are different. My brain is different now. It has changed, and so I have to realize that and change with it. But that doesn't mean that the brain cannot be taught new tricks, essentially, right? Just because it's an old brain doesn't mean it can't learn a new trick. And that's kind of what's going to happen. As our friends Bob and Brad say,
There's a couple ways to think about strengthening. One is you overload the muscles and you hypertrophy them and they grow that way. The other way is you're trying to train the nervous system. So if you're doing lots of repetitions throughout the day, really low reps. So let's say, for example, instead of doing 10 reps against the wall right now, you might only do 2 or 3, but you do it throughout the day,
Sure.
every couple hours or something like that.
Right. So it's a lower intensity, lower repetition.
But you're training the nerves.
so whether you call it muscle memory or training your nerves, it's the same thing. You're teaching your body over again how to do stuff, although now it's going to be different. There will be subtle differences in how you make those same motions or balance yourself in a slightly different way than you used to. An unexpected benefit. I really didn't expect this to happen, although I've read since that exercise definitely helps with mood. But I've noticed that my temper is not nearly as quick to flare as it had been. And I'll give exercise the credit for that. Nothing else has really changed that would make it that way. I know that I get to expend a lot more energy in a more healthy way, and I don't have as much maybe all bottled up or whatever. I don't know exactly how that works, but your body needs to release energy one way or the other. now I just feel like I have a lot longer of a fuse than I did a couple weeks ago. So for that reason alone, I'm glad that I'm exercising, and I'm sure my husband is very glad as well. Finally, I want to talk about how my goal, my original goal, has been clarified by even just my first week of doing my exercise program. To begin with, my goal was to kind of get back some of the capability that I'd had in the past, to feel more confident doing various things that in the past I wouldn't even have given any thought to, like going up and down stairs or walking along a sidewalk that was a little bit icy or possibly icy, walking around the house in the dark, things like that. So, and I still think that's a good goal. But I think that a goal that is bigger than that, maybe includes that, but is bigger than that, is I need to learn to trust my body again. I really have developed this relationship with my body, and maybe you would feel the same way about this. That at some point along the way, my body kind of went in one direction and my mind went in the other direction, and there's kind of been this separation. There's me and there's my body, and I feel like I'm inhabiting this body, but it isn't really mine. But by retraining myself and regaining the confidence that I used to have, I am now beginning to trust my body again. And that, I think, will be perhaps the biggest benefit of all. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be checking in with you from time to time to let you know how the exercise program is going. And of course, there'll be other videos besides the exercise stuff. I've got many ideas of things that I can talk with you about. And in the meantime, take care, and I will see you again in my next video.